All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel, guys. Today we're going to talk about the Chicago Bulls possibly landing a top 4 pick in the NBA draft, kind of what to do from that situation. So the odds are not in the Chicago Bulls' favor. However, in recent years, I believe it was 2019, the NBA they wanted to demotivate tanking. So they made basically much better odds for people outside of, essentially the top couple of picks. So the Chicago Bulls, as of right now, thanks to that win against Milwaukee, they have a just slightly over 20% chance of actually getting a top 4 pick. So if you're not sure why, the Chicago Bulls traded for Nikola Vucevic in the middle of the season, right before the trade deadline, actually on trade deadline day. And they gave up their pick this year. It is top 4 protected, however. So that means the pick has to fall in the top 4 of the lottery balls, or else it is not their pick. Now, there's good and bad news with this because the Chicago Bulls traded for Vucevic. I loved the trade. I thought it was something they desperately needed to do. You have Zach LaVine entering his prime, about to enter his prime, and then you've got Nikola Vucevic in his prime. I think with Vucevic, you're looking at least 3 good seasons, which is perfect for his contract. I think 3 is stretching it, the opposite of stretching it. I feel like that's being a little safe. Just saying he only has 3 good years left. I think you could definitely say 4 or 5 at the very least. But Nikola Vucevic is just a player that they desperately needed. It works out so perfectly. So unbelievably perfectly. Now, this team is in win now mode. So it's actually, what's crazy about this video is I think unless the Chicago Bulls get the first pick in the draft, I think they should trade it. I really think that they should trade. If you guys watch my channel, I do a lot of Houston Rocket videos. So I've been scouting this, I've been doing some research, getting all the information. And obviously, it doesn't take a brain scientist to come to the conclusion that Cade Cunningham is a generational talent. He is literally a generational talent. He will be an all-star in the next 3 years. And you can't say that about most players in any NBA draft. That's truly amazing. Generational talent, like I said. 6'8" point guard who can shoot. He can pass. Some of the passes are just ridiculous. This guy looks like a mini Luka right now with a much better 3. Keep in mind, Cade Cunningham shot 40% in his college career from deep. So I do think that the Chicago Bulls, unless they get that first pick, I think they should trade it, man. I really do. Taking a look at the other guys, it's Evan Mobley, Jonathan Kuminga, Jalen Suggs, Jalen Green. The thing about it is I'm 100% positive that at least 3 of those dudes are going to be solid. At least 2 or 3 of the guys outside of Cade in the top 4, two of them should at least, so with Cade, 3 of them, man, they're going to be good. Jalen Green was balling in the G League. If he went to college, Jalen Green, it would be, I don't think it would be a toss-up, but it would definitely be a little bit more competitive of, hey, maybe Cade's not going 1. Jalen Suggs, he looks NBA ready, man. Jalen Suggs just genuinely looks NBA ready. The thing about Jalen Suggs and being NBA ready is, my definition of him coming into the league being NBA ready is you give him backup point guard roles or starting point guard roles, and he puts up numbers like Jalen Brunson. So that's still good. I'm not knocking it one bit. I'm just saying for the Bulls, what I'm trying to get at here is the Bulls need help right this second. They need help right now. You have a 26-year-old Zach LaVine, like I said, about to enter his prime, and you have Nikola Vucevic at 30 years old, currently in his prime. Kobe White, he's a great point guard. But, you can't get another Kobe White in this draft. The Chicago Bulls, they just can't afford that type of time. Now, a couple of years ago, yeah, this pick falling in the top 4 would be awesome if they didn't have the full protection on it. But this team needs to win right now. And the hope is that if they don't get Cade Cunningham, I think the Bulls should trade it. And I think you got to get a valuable piece. And you throw Lauri Markkanen into this with a sign and trade. You even throw in Kobe White in this in the offseason. The Bulls could get really funky with their offseason plans here. You could trade away this pick, sign and trade Lauri, trade away Kobe White. I mean, a lot of things could happen for this Bulls team. Now, what would they get in return? Well, with a top 4 pick in the NBA right now, I mean, you're definitely going to get some great value back. My thinking is with a team like the Indiana Pacers, I think Miles Turner would be a great target for the Bulls. Now, obviously, Miles Turner, I don't think that value is necessarily fair. I think that the Pacers would have to throw in a little bit more just to kind of ice the cake. But a guy like Miles Turner, throw him in at 4. I mean, Nikola Vucevic has his big man. That Miles Turner and Vucevic would be absolutely, especially on defense, they would be unreal. And then here's the thing, is they still have a ton of cap, so you can go out and sign a free agent. Go out and get Lonzo Ball. Go out and get DeMar DeRozan. Sign and trade Lauri Markkanen. We'll see what they do. It is important to I don't think, I mean, obviously this whole Bulls roster isn't coming back. I look at guys like, I mean, picture Denzel Valentine. Denzel Valentine will not be returning in a Chicago Bulls uniform next year. I mean, he's 27 years old. It seems slim to none. I mean, it's just, his playing time has just gone down dramatically, especially at the end of this year, and it's with good reasons. Another player I would expect to go away in the offseason, most likely Adam Akaka. And then lastly, I would expect Cristiano Felicio 100 billion% to not come back. I mean, his salary will finally be off the books. When you look at Cristiano on paper, 6'10", 270, he's only 28 years old. I mean, he was paid over 8 years for the last 4 years, thanks to a horrible contract extension from John Paxson and Gar Forman. I mean, Felicio barely even played this year. I think he played, 18 games? So now you have an extra $8 million in cap. You could help use that towards free agency. I want to hear what you guys have to say about this hypothetical. Now, the first time I actually did this in the tank, I think it's called tankathon.com. If you want to do a random tank generator like it was on the screen, I think it's tankathon.com. The first time I did this, Chicago Bulls, number 1, first pick in the draft. Could you imagine Cade Cunningham on the Chicago Bulls? Everything would completely change. They would be able to attract free agents. You don't have to worry about if Zach LaVine wants to leave or not. Kobe White, throw him off ball. Like, you could literally go with so many different routes if they end up getting Cade Cunningham. But the best part is they can go on so many different routes, just not as great as if they were to actually draft Cade. But maybe even more options. They have more options if they were to fall outside of number 1, somewhere 2, 3, or 4. Let me know down in the comments below if you were the Chicago Bulls, you got a top 4 pick, but it wasn't pick number 1. Would you trade it, or who would you draft?